These are 3 New Year's cards I printed and worked out with colored pencils, and one of them also with acrylics. Stay tuned to see me making them. Hello Gelli Art lovers! I don't know if in your country it is the same ritual to give each other pots of 4-leaf clovers with the figure of a chimney sweeper as a New Year's present. Well, here in Germany they do. Usually the clover dies after a short time and people throw them away. Not in my household. I told my neighbor who gave me this that I would print the clover and the little figure. She didn't believe me and laughed, so I had to prove it. And here's how your print developed, Angelica. I am printing with Golden Open slow drying paints today, but as usual you can use any acrylic paint, but you'll probably need a pickup color for the first layer. One of the clover leaves did not unfold the right way, so I am correcting this with some tweezers. I am pressing the objects into the paint and picking up the surrounding paint with a tissue. It's one of those kitchen tissues that leave a nice pattern behind. You can see it well here. Taking the clover off, and you can see it's a nice motif here. Printing with a rather cheap paper. It's a watercolor paper that has only 90 GSM. So if you want to paint on it with watercolor later, I would be sure to take a higher grammature for the paper. Doing the same thing now with my favorite color. You know it, it's Golden Open Quinacridone Nickelazo Gold. Note that I'm not mixing the colors ahead because especially this time I want, when I print in the objects, I want them to leave what color they still have on them. You can see here that the little figure did that, and that's what I find really interesting, if the colors are mixing that way. I'm using a regular tissue here, a soft tissue that I crumpled before, and it doesn't have a pattern of its own, but by crumpling it, it leaves an interesting texture. And here you can see how the black color mixed in an interesting way with the quinacridone gold. Same with the black color again, but this time I'm treating it a little different, as you'll see in a minute. Pressing down the little figure is always a bit complicated because it's not a flat object. So it also has a sharp rim of the head, so I'm a little afraid it might hurt the Gelli plate, but it didn't. Taking off excess color with a magazine page or a newspaper page is sometimes a surprise when it leaves something behind, like some writing, some letters and so on, and I would welcome that, but this one didn't. I'm taking all the excess color around the objects off now, or almost. I used a baby wipe, and for the more detailed parts you can use a cotton swab. That works perfectly. I left a little bit of the black down there as grasses or so. This is a little dark. Maybe I should have used a less thick layer. And this is going to be the green I'm using for the second layer to the black. This is a tissue box. It just happened to be empty when I printed this, and I thought I'd use this opening and the texture of the box. Placing the Gelli plate so that I can really see where the opening goes over the figure. It worked perfectly. So now I'm starting to work out and develop the prints with my colored pencils, as usual, my trusty Faber-Castell pencils. And the one I printed first, I'm going to use some acrylics too for the background. In this case here with the green one, it's a little bit of a shame that I used too much black color. It's a little bit dark for the clovers. But the tissue box gave me interesting patterns in the background, so I'm working these out. Sometimes I think you must get bored with me. You know, I'm just always using more or less the same techniques, basically giving highlights, putting highlights there and shadows to make it come alive. I just hope you enjoy watching me doing this, because I always, even if it's the same thing, I always enjoy this a lot. And I hope you don't think, oh, if I'm just copying this, you know, it's not my artwork or so. You know, I learned almost everything by copying other people. And even if I copy something, a work completely, it always turns out a lot different to the original. And that's also a way to find your own style. So go on, copy my things. Have I ever told you how I love this color, the quinacridone nickelazo gold? Well, I do. And to all the people who are desperate because they can't find it anymore, because the normal golden color, the normal acrylic in quinacridone nickelazo gold is not available anymore for some reason, but I think it's still available in the Golden Open series. So try that. The golden colors are really quite expensive, I have to say here, but they come at a very good quality. And I don't know, I've had this one that was like 80 milliliters or so. I've used it for a year and I use it often. So I think it's really worth the money because of the high pigmentation and slow drying effect as well. When I'm correcting something that has not printed very well, like the chimney sweeper's head in this case, I try to do it very minimalistically, if you can say that. You know, just by giving hints what the shape is supposed to be, to not lose the original print feel about it. This little mushroom, of course, didn't print that well, so I had to draw it out completely. What's very nice also is the structures of this regular tissue, very soft and thin tissue. And it's just a wonderful effect. You can also use it very well for example, if you want to show some mountains or some kind of landscape. Oh, and don't you just love the outlines that the Gelli Plate gives you? I'm trying to enhance it in a way so that it works with the pattern. So this was the first print I made with the kitchen tissue patterns, and it is a little confusing because it has a little too much structure. So what I'm using here is an opaque acrylic color, and because sometimes it's very interesting if you have these prints who are very detailed and even also get more details from the color pencils, which I'm going to do after the acrylic paint. What I wanted to say was the contrast between the opaque monochrome color fields and the detailed ones is also something that makes a print, an image, very interesting. The paper is a little of a beige tone, but it's almost white. And I'm using a stronger beige here because I have a favor for the combination white, beige, and black. Now I'm coming in with a black pencil. Here's the mushroom. Yeah, well, I'm gonna turn it red later also. I'm not enhancing all of the black outlines because sometimes, like on the top left you see here, it's very interesting when it's a little bit more broken and not too defined, if it's not too perfect. So I'm only doing that in places, and especially, of course, with the little figure, because that needs to be the center of attention. And you can see also, this is the only print where you got to see the little clover, four-leaf clover leaf on his chest. What I also enjoy a lot is when I see, like here, when I see like a strange invented plant that doesn't really exist, and I can make it somehow believable that it's some living being or so. These lovely patterns that the tissue gave me, I'm using them as plants as well, or part of the scenery. This one really was the best print. I had a closer look at these leaves, and it's just astonishing, all these veins and everything it showed. And by the way, I printed them the wrong way. I put them face up, I put them face down onto the Gelli plate. It's better to use the back side because there the veins are even more visible. And I don't know what this white spot is, but maybe it's his nose. Whatever. And to finish this one, I'm doing the same thing with the rim here. The only problem I have now, I have these 3 wonderful cards and I don't know which one to give to my neighbor. And as usual, I want to keep them all. I hope you had fun watching this, and watch me next time when I'm coming up with some decalcomania effects on the Gelli plate. See you!